What's up, everyone? I'm Jay, and today we'll be looking at Alice in Wonderland, the animated one, and judging it on a 5-star, 10-star, and 5,000 point scale. Let's get right into it. Alice in Wonderland is a musical fantasy film that was released in 1951 by Walt Disney Productions. It's based on the Alice in Wonderland book by Lewis Carroll. It follows a little girl named Alice as she talks nonsense, chases a rabbit, falls down a hole, chases a rabbit, eats suspicious food, chases a rabbit, and arrives in Wonderland. Wonderland is a world filled with incredibly strange characters, and Alice meets well over 50 of them. As is customary, many of them randomly break into song at some point during their meeting.
A thought of tomorrow that can finish yesterday.
Occasionally during the film, Alice remembers the plot, but most of the time she just wanders from character to character. Then the story ends with Alice waking up. And she probably learned a lesson or something along the way. I don't know. I enjoyed this movie. I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but the characters singing were visually interesting enough that I was able to focus on them throughout the song. I would recommend watching a movie like this with a friend. You know, if you have friends. That way, you can talk about what's happening during or after the movie. There's nothing particularly epic about this movie, but I wouldn't say that's bad. I give 700 points for watch value. I probably won't be rewatching this movie. However, I think that there are a few ways to keep the movie interesting. Do a movie night with people who have never seen this movie before. It's not a bad movie choice, and I don't think anyone will be complaining about having to watch it afterward. Or you could watch it for nostalgia. There's plenty of lines in this movie that have become ingrained into our culture. If you feel like seeing these characters again, then there's no reason not to watch it. Just don't expect others to enjoy it as much as you do. I give 300 points for rewatch value. Now that the subjective stuff's out of the way, let's get into the stuff that seems objective. The writing for this movie is pretty good, the characters all act fairly naturally, and there aren't any plot holes. However, there also isn't really any plot. Alice is supposed to be trying to figure out where the white rabbit is going, but constantly gets distracted. She sometimes remembers about the rabbit for no more than 15 seconds at a time before immediately becoming distracted again. In addition, many of Alice's interactions are informed by Lewis Carroll's original book, so I can't really praise the writers for phenomenal creativity. I give 500 points for writing and plot. Now this is an animated movie. That means that we'll be looking at whether or not the voices of the actors fit the characters that are drawn. And I would say that they do. The Red Queen and the White Rabbit both sound stunning. The singers in the background are amazing. The Mad Hatter's voice is good too, although personally I prefer a different Mad Hatter. I will say that I thought Alice's voice sounded a little bit off, but I can't quite place why. I give 700 points for the voice acting. I believe that the artwork is the main draw of this movie. The artists do a great job of making characters, settings, and animals look strange and still beautiful. I was able to stay interested in this movie despite the singing because I was intrigued by everything else. Look at these flowers! Look at these creatures! The way that these cards march around is great. I give 900 points for effects and set. Now for the scores. We've got 3.1 out of 5 or 6.2 out of 10, depending on which is more your style, and it also scored a solid 3,100 points. I don't really have anything more to say about this movie. I do like this one particular scene where Alice is sitting in the tree and her teacher's voice kind of fades out, and then the teacher disappears altogether, and you can tell that Alice is now dreaming. My favorite scene is this one.
Her Imperial Highness, Her Grace, Her Excellency, Her Royal Majesty, the Queen of Hearts, and the King.
The poor king, he deserves more love. Until next time, enjoy entertainment and judge it fairly. This has been Just Jay Review.